On today's show, we visit the Plymouth Community Art Center, hear original poetry, talk about upcoming things to do in our area, and remember local fallen hero, U.S. Army Specialist 5, Robert Hedge.
We're glad you're here. Let's get started.
We were privileged to work with staff at Plymouth Memorial Hall and the families of our fallen soldiers to shine a light on the lives of the local heroes who wore the uniforms now displayed in the Hall of Flags. With their permission, we share the story of U.S. Army Specialist 5, Robert Hedge.
Robbie's greatest legacy was anytime you would meet someone in Plymouth that knew Robbie, they would have something wonderful to say about his personality. He was charismatic, magnetic, always laughing. He just enjoyed being around people, and people loved to be around him because you didn't know what was going to happen. Something was going to go on with Robbie. When I first learned that Robbie was gone, I don't know how to describe the trauma. If someone passes away to a medical issue, it is traumatic and devastating for the family. If someone dies accidentally, it is devastating. However, for us, I can only speak for us, once we got the news, I had no idea how to handle this situation. Obviously, there's no format for handling someone who dies in the service of their country under combat. You know, we sent the best, and now we have only a memory. Never forget about it and never forget his memory, and always honor his memory, but I was okay with it after quite a few years. Recently, we did a memorial to Rob and all of the Vietnam vets at the American Legion Post 40, where I'm a member. I salute that when I go by lots of times. That's my memories of Rob.
We honor those we've lost and will continue to say their names and remember them. You can visit the Hall of Flags at Plymouth Memorial Hall, located at 83 Court Street.
Weaving words and sound, poet Tamora Israel will bring their poetry to life at Tilden Arts Center Studio at Cape Cod Community College on Saturday, February 8th. Poetry for My Brain Parts is a performance featuring 11 of Tamora's original poems done in collaboration with band Conspiracy of Noise. Over a canvas of sound, the poetry explores self-love, feminism, mental health, and social justice. The performance is further punctuated by amusing and personal storytelling in between the poems. Poetry from My Brain Parts is presented in partnership with the Big Read Cape Cod. Tickets can be purchased through the Cape Cod community website. General admission tickets are $15, students get in for $10, and seniors $5. There is a matinee performance as well on Sunday, February 9th at 2 p.m. Tamora's debut book of poetry will be available for pre-purchase at the event. Cape Cod Community College is located at 2240 I&O Road in West Barnstable.
Imagine a world only lit by fire. Plymouth Patuxent Museum invites you back in time to experience what life in Plymouth was like before the use of electricity. On Wednesday, February 19th, you'll meet in the Visitor Center at 6 p.m. to walk a path to the past illuminated only by star and candlelight. You'll stop at the home site to gather in the Weechu by the glowing embers of a warm fire for a talk about the winter traditions of the Wampanoag people. Guided by the sounds of melodic voices, you will continue on to the village and visit a cottage alive with story and song. This 1 hour and 30-minute walking tour, removed from busy streets and glaring lights of modern civilization, will immerse you in the past in a way that only Plymouth Patuxent can illuminate. Tickets are just $15 for members and $25 general admission. Visit Plymouth Patuxent Museum's website or Facebook page to purchase.
Are you a businesswoman who wants to start Valentine's Day off exchanging invaluable business tips and advice with peers instead of cutesy cards and candy? The South Shore Women's Business Networks is hosting their quarterly membership mastermind virtual coffee chat on Friday, February 14th at 9 a.m. Get a pot of your favorite brew percolating, sign on, and connect with other businesswomen to discuss everything from innovative marketing strategies to efficient time management techniques as you sip on a steamy cup of joe. Each attendee will have 2 minutes to share personal insights, tips, lessons, or a bit of knowledge acquired from making a mistake. This is a chance to reflect and grow amongst a supportive group. This online networking event is 1.5 hours and tailored to be beneficial to women of all levels of business, whether you are a seasoned professional or just starting out an entrepreneurial adventure. To register, visit the South Shore Women's Business Network website. A link to the virtual event will be sent by email the day before.
Derived from the Greek word ekphrasis, meaning description or interpretation, ekphrastic poetry celebrates, describes, and responds to a work of art. Next up, we head to the Plymouth Center for the Arts, where poet Bill Alberti read and sang Artist Depicting Artist, his fresh perspective on Stephen, by artist P. Anthony Visco.
So this is the portrait that I chose. Its title is Stephen, and it's actually in the corner over here, and I just found out the other day when I came in that it won second place in drawing and pastels. Is Tony Visco here, the artist? No. Stephen, the model? That's probably good. Turn on your heart light in the middle of a young boy's dream. Don't wake me up too soon. Gonna take a ride across the moon, you and me. 1982, Neil Diamond was inspired by the movie E.T., and he wrote that song. E.T. was directed and produced by none other than Steven Spielberg. When I first saw this portrait, I thought it was Steven Spielberg on a windy day. I also noticed that the artist is a friend of mine, Tony Visco. I contacted Tony. There he is. Hi, Tony. I contacted Tony and said, is this supposed to be Steven Spielberg? And he said, no, this is a friend of mine whose name is Steven. And I went, PH versus the V in Steven. I had the wrong one. Artist Portrait. The title of this poem goes both ways. Artist depicting artist. Not a foreign idea. 1875, Auguste portrayed his friend Claude. 1886, Edgar portrayed Edward. 1888, Paul portrayed Vincent. Here, P. Anthony Visco, better known as Tony, portrays his friend Stephen. He captured him in carbon mineral known as graphite, a medium that Leonardo used in the 1500s. Singer Sargent used in 1884, Chuck Close, 1986. Material capable of delicate lines like those found in this precision portrait. This drawing's meticulous detail conveys emotion, captures essence in realistic rendering. Stephen's bulbous forehead face is encircled by a corona of long, wild, white, wispy hair. From behind circular, wire-rimmed glasses, he peeks up directly at his friend with a wide, toothy, giggling smile. In classic portrait style, head and shoulders only, the artist has skillfully revealed the mood and personality of this cock-headed character I would love to meet for social conversation and perhaps, if appropriate, to offer my comb. Thank you.
Farmers Farmers markets are often associated with the warmer months. However, the Plymouth Farmers Market is one that does not hibernate. Yes, during these icy winter months, you corn still shop for fresh, local, seasonal produce while enjoying the wonderful social experience this event brings to the community. The next Plymouth Farmers Market is taking place inside at the Mayflower Brewing Company on Thursday, February 13th from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock p.m. Vendors will be set up and selling an abundance of locally sourced goods, fruits, veggies, meats, cheeses, and deliciously prepared foods. Leading up to outside weather, additional markets will be held indoors on Thursday, March 13th and Thursday, April 10th. Mayflower Brewing Company is at 12 Resnick Road in Plymouth.
The Pilgrim 1,600-acre area is a large tract of privately owned land between Manomet and Plymouth Town Center that once housed the Pilgrim Power Station. Since the closing of the station, the town has been exploring opportunities for economic development on this land that will both help offset the loss of jobs and tax revenue and increase the quality of life in Plymouth. The town of Plymouth is now turning to its residents for input on how this land should be used and managed to best serve the community. To streamline this effort, they've launched the Pilgrim 1,600-acre area planning process. The town wants to hear your vision, and there are several ways to get involved. One is to take the survey. The deadline to complete this short document is February 2nd. In the survey, you can express your thoughts about what makes Plymouth different from other towns, what you think the town's greatest challenges are, and what you believe should be prioritized in order to improve the quality of life here. You can also get involved by attending the visioning session on February 13th at the Plymouth Community Intermediate School, located at 117 Long Pond Road from 6 to 8 p.m. This is an opportunity for you to have a voice in defining the values and goals that will guide the planning of the Pilgrim 1,600 over the next few months. For links to all of the details, updates on how the project is progressing, and the various ways you can get involved along the way, visit the website at pilgrim1600.engage.sasaki.com.
The act of exchanging Valentine's cards may date back as far as the 1400s, and this tradition has been too good to be forgotten for centuries. Keeping the tradition alive, the Wildlands Trust is hosting a fun DIY Valentine's card making workshop for kids ages 7 and up on Saturday, February 8th. From 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., botanical artist and conservation agent Trisha Cassidy will guide your young creators through the artistic process of crafting their own nature-themed Valentines using watercolors, colored pencils, and pens. All art supplies are provided, and everyone will leave with up to 4 handmade cards to take home and exchange with your favorite Valentines. You are welcome to bring your own snacks and drinks to keep the young artists fueled up for creation. There is a small cost of $10 per participant, discounted to $5 if you're a member. The event is limited to 20 spots, so be sure to sign up through the website soon.
The Pop-Up Art School is bringing a crafty needle felting workshop featuring everyone's favorite slacker, the sloth, to the Kingston Public Library. Learn to felt a sloth is slowly moving our way, but we'll be here before you know it, landing in the branches of the Teen Room on Thursday, February 20th. Kiddos aged 11 and up can learn how to sculpt the world's most popular slow-moving forest dweller using a special needle and wool roving. Needle felting is incredibly fun and easier than it may look. The program runs from 3 to 4:30 p.m. and is graciously funded by the Kingston Public Library Foundation. Registration is required and can be done through a link on the library's website.
Oscar-nominated screenwriter, independent film director, and author John Sayles will be at the Duxbury Senior Center to discuss his new novel, To Save the Man. A work of historical fiction, the book casts light on the greatest tragedy in American history, the Wounded Knee Massacre, and the ongoing systematic erasing of Native American cultures through assimilation tactics Native American children experienced at the Carlisle Indian Industrial School. About the book, Pulitzer Prize finalist Lee Martin states, Sayles reminds us of the cost of history on the individual life. This blend of fact and invention makes for an unforgettable read. Spend an afternoon with this stellar storyteller, John Sayles, at the Duxbury Senior Center on Thursday, February 6th at 3 p.m. You can register to attend through the Senior Center's website. I'll be there too with the local Scene Street team, so step up to the mic and say hi.
Next up is poet Mark Walsh in a reading of his original work.
Well, hello. My name is Mark Walsh, and I've just been told I'm the closer, so you got that to look for. Unless Miriam is here somewhere and comes out of the wall. So I'm going to read two poems. This first poem is, this is a poem about things that freeze my blood, and it's called You Crossed This Bridge for the One Down the Road, and it's dedicated to my friend Ken Lasordo, 1961 to 2015. He was a friend of mine from college, UMass Dartmouth, and this is the only poem I have that has a Plymouth reference in it, and the reference is right across the street at the old San Diego's, where Ken and I used to meet. You crossed this bridge for the one down the road. I'm on speaking terms with bridges, but the conversations are terse. Behind the wheel, a bridge boils my panic, burns together two unpleasant parts of life, height and no viable exit. To be on a bridge is to be locked into the starkness of a one-way route. Fear invades. I plead with my irrational self not to make the terror of losing control and bursting through the guardrail a real thing. In time, and with help, I have assembled defenses, casual movements, left hand firmly on the wheel, while the right moves from the wheel to the shift, and the shift to the wheel, showing gurgling anxiety, a ripple of self-control. Singing helps. Found lyrics a distraction. So is conversation with my rider, who I remind myself is my charge to deliver safely home, bigger life providing bigger focus. Alone, however, I am left to confront a steel and concrete behemoth looming over the horizon. What then? Years ago, a friend put a stop to his days, and I needed to drive to Falmouth to accept and to say goodbye. My anxiety pregame nearly evaporated. The image of the Sagamore dwindled in comparison to the size of my loss, the stern emptiness my questions could not answer. The trip was accountability, penance, apology owed for missed calls, canceled plans, trash can of dropped balls. The creeping anger you shouldn't feel but do never resolves and never fades. He was vital. He worked with people who had lost themselves, worked to pull them out of darkness so he could forget his. A darkness he hid so well that it took 2 hours from the news of his death for me to wake up to the cause of his. The emptiness that forced me to consider all I didn't know. Then, around the bend of Route 3, the bridge appeared like some bog beast that chomped speardanes for sport. Fear arrived the way a nurse appears at the doorway, inviting you into the exam room for the diagnosis. Alone, locked in, car tilted toward the crest of the Sagamore, nearly wiped clear, a weirdness arrived, and I said aloud, "Peace, little friend. Thank you for your care, but I'm going to say goodbye to Ken, and I need to pick up his slack." The hot panic simmered, cooled, stopped. Today, when bridges need to be crossed, they're crossed for Ken, for the bridges he should be riding on and off the Cape, as he should be racing triathlons and playing his ukulele and meeting me in Plymouth for respectable Tex-Mex. You cross this bridge for the one further down the road, for the bridges you can't see yet, making it a thing you do, like falling asleep or waking up with the alarm. The depth of air under vaulted steel is not for you, is never for you, because you have another bridge to cross. Thank you. Admittedly, that was a little dark, so I'm going to end on an up note. This is a poem called Getting Outside. Getting outside. It's impossible to look at a field of trees and find stillness. Air rustles drive leaves or thrusts a bough along the length of a trunk. Holding the forest canopy in view, movement finds its way to you in the distant sway of limbs separating to reveal glimpses of bright, cloudy sky. It's easier to watch than it is to forget. When the blues hit, open all doors and windows in your house. Listen for the breeze and let it invite you to where the garden needs weeding or birds need counting. Name the birds you count. Learn a sparrow from a chickadee, from a woodpecker. Relax the eye along the landscape until they show themselves in quick hops and darting pecks. Take in what is in front of you, careful not to miss what needs to be seen. Accomplish small tasks that provide weird worth. The least amount of action can flatten the greatest heap of anxiety. Where the world is broken is where the sparrow endures. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cookbooks are more than just pages of recipes bound together between two covers. They are dynamic cultural artifacts, family heirlooms, beloved books, offering delicious delights to bring to communal tables and feed our loved ones. Do you love to get in there and stir the pot when it comes to finding and executing a good recipe from your favorite cookbook? There is a new book club for you. The Pembroke Public Library is thrilled to announce the launch of Pembroke Cooks Cookbook Club on Thursday, February 13th. This is a potluck-style gathering offering an opportunity to meet other home cooking foodies in your town, share tastes and copies of recipes and learn from new ones. The theme this month is Cook What You Love. Cook something from your favorite cookbook and bring the dish you share. If you wish, bring a copy of the book for others to peruse. And if you prefer not to cook at all, you are still welcome to attend the Cookbook Club. Pembroke Cooks Cookbook Club starts at 6:30 p.m. and will be cooking all the way to 7:30. All interested in attending should register through the library's website.
On Thursday, February 6th, the Kingston Council on Aging will host a public education information table featuring representatives from the Massachusetts State 911 Department. Get information and your questions answered about the 911 service in the Commonwealth. There will also be information about Mass EDP, an initiative offering specialized equipment, both wireless and wired, to persons with permanent disabilities, and Mass Relay, a free, confidential relay service that enables those who are deaf, hard of hearing, or speech disabled to communicate over regular telephone lines through the use of a relay operator. This event runs from 9 to 11 a.m. See what they did there? And that, my friends, wraps this episode of The Local Scene this week. We thank our patrons, Tiny & Sons, Quintal Brothers, and Squinny's Pizza for supporting our mission of community in action through media.
And we want to thank you for watching. If you have a story or event you'd like people to know about, email us at story@thelocalscene.media. And if you live or work in Plymouth, Pembroke, Kingston, or Duxbury and would like to have your own show or podcast, you should. Email community@thelocalscene.media to find out about our free production services and training for community members.
We'll be back next week with more of what's good and good to know in our community. Until then, we'll see you on The Local Scene. For more of what's good and good to know on the South Shore of Massachusetts, hit the subscribe button, and thank you for watching.